Hey guys, it's Jet888 here. It is Thursday, the 28th of September. This video is going to touch quickly on yesterday's little symbols I see coming in on my computer, which I think are very strange and kind of coincidentally touch into the topic that I started discussing with you back on Saturday on September 23rd. So I hope you can hang with me because what I'm finding is kind of interesting. Even looking today makes it even more interesting to me. So surprisingly, Google today on the 28th has zero, there's no little fun, whimsical notices or anything. But when I look at their word, the name, Google, it reminds me of like goo gel. But anyhow, today's little message that I capture here, that they send me every day, I get new little visuals. The message is best fall foliage around the world. And of course, the predominant color is orange, as in the cabal. Looking at the anagram real quickly of fall foliage, I see a illegal off, our L flag foil, and foil is to prevent something considered wrong or undesirable. So I guess that depends on what side you're on, from succeeding. It also means hunting, the track or scent of a hunted animal. So hunting, or to set back in an enterprise, a defeat. When I quickly looked at today's date, 9/28, these are two of the top numbers that come in, Hawaii and 86. So there's 9/28. It's also pink frequency. Now these are both things that I covered in my the 23rd video. And isn't that funny? 9/28. Well, not really funny. But if I also go look at 86, it's also, well, black magic, but clock, which is one of the main things that I discussed in my 23rd video. I hope that you have the time to watch it because I think it's important, because I don't think it's just about the Middle East. I think it's what's going on with the entire world. 86 is also aligned. Also, today's message that they're sending on my computer regarding the fall foliage happens to also be 86. 145 is the Jewish gematria. Fall foliage also at 145 is 10, which is AI, and emerald, which I've covered emerald quite a bit in my on the 23rd video that I'm going to show it right after this. You will see black cats and also poem. 86 is also 19 and black swan, both of what I covered on my 23rd video. Here's the word hunter, pyramid, and symbol, and TikTok, which is also a warning in everything that I covered on my 23rd video, and disease X. Okay, so here we go. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I hope you can watch the whole thing. And here it is today. How fitting this is. Look at this, 9/27, September 27th today. And look at that little image on the bottom that my little arrow's pointing to. Doesn't it look, from far away, doesn't it look like two people in like what they wear in Saudi Arabia? You know, like their long gowns, but when you get closer, you get the camera, and then they're actually two pieces of suitcases and a hat. And when you look at what they're showing us, world tourism today, and remember that article I showed you? This was written June 29th, 2023, how Mecca is the linchpin for Saudi Arabia's hospitality and tourism drive. It's exactly what they're driving all this towards, is so people come here and gather in all their hotels and spend all their money at the shopping districts and the tourism. They're kind of forgetting about the whole, religious part of the Mecca, but it's all about tourism. And they're also making it, Al-Walid bin Talal even said, making it like Disneyland-like, is what he said in an interview that I saw. Disneyland-like. And there you go. There's your Mickey and Minnie, Saudi Arabia. And how do you like that? How do you like that? Do you think that's an accident? Really? Do you? You think that's an accident? Okay, whatever. Just keep giving your money to Disney. Okay, and just as an example, here's Google this morning on the 27th, one of their favorite days, G25GLE, so that's 25. Let's look at 25. There's your 42 and there's your 25. As we get closer to October 4th, there's your FEMA 25. This is simple gematria. So yeah, it seems to me when you just look at this from afar, it looks like there's your black box, there's your Kaaba. Then it looks like it from far, it looks like it could be two Middle Easterns in their robes just standing side by side. And then to the, let's see, their left, our right, is that what, Saturn or some kind of planet or something, or spaceship? It looks like that too. Just weird. It's a weird visual that I think they're trying to play in your subconscious. As they get everyone to flood to the Mecca, notice the middle finger, to go to the little black box, which is located in the Mecca. Today's message, 25, which is also FEMA. How weird. What a little coincidence. So this is interesting. We have an image here, World Tourism Day 2023, delivering sustainable transformation for Abu Dhabi. Here's the anagram of Abu Dhabi, bad AI hub. And hub is the central part of a wheel rotating on or with the axle and from which the spokes radiate. The effective center of an activity, region, or network. And I find it interesting that that shape of that area looks like a hand with kind of jacked up fingers. Maybe like the jacked up fingers of Josh Green's Maui guy, the governor. What happened to your fingers, Josh? And beyond. And here we have September 27th, World Tourism Day. And it's interesting that they show dolphins and underwater sea activities, something that you'd think you'd see more in a Hawaii type of setting, and the word Rocky on the side with the piano. There's your stairs. You're ascending to what looks like some kind of prophet. Let's go look at the word Tourism Day. So we can see the word radium's toy comes into play here, being the anagram. And radium, the chemical element of atomic number 88. Where do we know the word or the number 88 from, I wonder? But it's a rare radioactive metal of the alkaline earth series. It was formerly used as a source of a radiation for radiotherapy. And the word radio, a transmission and reception of electromagnetic waves. It says especially those carrying sound messages and cellular phones are linked by radio rather than wires. I know I refer to the Wizard of Oz quite a bit, but this is what I was looking at in my September 23rd video that's going to follow this. When I looked at the anagram of bell out of order, please knock. It was ER as an emergency room LED flu reset cookbook plan, and also Blackstone Elder Poker Fool, which Blackstone is in that black rock in the Kaaba, which I'll cover later. But the gematria, which is 966 of bell out of order, please knock, is electromagnetic current, is at also 966, so that's kind of fitting to me. That tourism today, which was on the 27th, World Tourism Day, was radium's toy. Tourism Day is also Mousy Triad, and here we have, and I'll show this in the 23rd video, you've got Mickey and Minnie Mouse with Saudi Arabia. I'll also cover that, but what's also interesting to me is that on her Mickey or Minnie's chest reminds me of a Baphomet head, which also looks very similar to Saudi bin Laden's group's logo, which I've covered that group. And Gates happens to be involved with that. And I will show the scaffoldings attached to this group. And here, Bin Laden group's turmoil, a mirror of Saudi Arabia's. It says a mirror. And I have covered Operation Warp Speed quite a bit, and I'll also mention that in the 23rd video following this. And do you notice how at this Operation Warp Speed meeting, how this table, it's something that they've created, but it's a mirror. It has like a reflection in here, and I don't think that's by accident. I think that was created in there. Anyhow, I think it's all related to what's coming. So that was the 27th, was World Tourism Day. And does the word tourism and terrorism sound a little bit alike? Looking quickly at the gematria of tourism at 559690, which I've covered 69 quite a bit, and 115. The perfect match is St. Louis, and I've covered this too just recently, St. Louis and Missouri does happen to have an Emerald City. This happens to be the map of St. Louis. It's funny to me because it almost looks like it's giving a thumbs up, unlike the Kaaba, which is giving you the middle finger, not the Kaaba, the Mecca, which I've showed and I'll show it later. But interesting too, because they've got Clayton, which people were made of clay, at least in the Bible, and then Webster Groves. And Webster, the Webster Dictionary, has to do a lot with words, and words are frequencies. St. Louis is also near Collinsville, and Collinsville is also one of the controlling families, but it also happens to be a dictionary, which again deals with words, which are frequencies. And to the southeast of it happens to be Belleville. And here at Oz's Emerald City, when they go knocking on the door, it says bell out of order, please knock. And weird because in St. Louis, it has Dan's Emerald Forest. So it's just sort of weird. So Dan's Emerald Forest happens to be a landscaper, and it's got looking like a Christmas theme with a train. And when we look closer, it's smile, you're on camera, almost like American means in camera, and Sea Rock City, which I think is sort of weird because of all the black rock and black stone, which I cover on my 23rd video. And anyhow, I'm going to get back to that. So just a lot of weird things going on. But the word tourism at 559 is also antenna music. It's also morphing snake demon at the 201, like event 201. The John Hopkins tabletop exercise. Remember that? The whole kickoff to the last 3+ years. And it's also 3 stars, which can that bring us back to the mousy triad? And it's also chosen prophet, which I've covered the word profit as in like profit from, like money, Profit. And it's steakhouse, which I've covered the stakeholders also on the 23rd video. Anyhow, tourism seems to be an interesting word because you got the scientists also. And the Club of Rome. Okay, I'm going to get back to the video for the 23rd. And tourism is also Trinity and lock boxes, which I also covered on the 23rd. And they're showing what looks like a toroidal energy thing there, and that toroidal looks like that same type of design on the Maori war paint, their war face, which has been brought up recently. It's part of the Maui, the Haka war dance. And remember when Prince Philip took part of this Haka war dance? It's just like a ritual. And Haka, that also sounds like hack, like, you know, humans are hackable animals, but Haka is also caged in gematria. But toroidal, the toroidal field is very important, but it's of or resembling a torus. This is part of the visual image, but this is part of the toroidal field. Toroidal field. So is it just by accident that the troidal and the haka and the war fighting stuff is being shown with Prince Harry? And the Taurus almost looks like part of the infinity sign, which is the bull there, Taurus. And in mythology, Taurus, the wandering bull in mythology, Taurus betrayed their best friend. And this says, this sign belongs to the earth, element, or triplicity. Remember Tourism Day was mousy triad. And then here we show on her chest the bull. And that is also part of Saudi bin Laden Group's logo. And remember what Abu Dhabi is? Bad AI hub. Anyhow, I'm wondering if we're putting it all together. Okay, hey guys, it's Jet here, Jet 888. It's September 23rd. Today there's a freedom thing going on downtown in Balboa Park in San Diego. I wanted to go. I actually kind of forgot about it until just now, but then I thought maybe I don't want to go because they tend to use those places to, yeah, it's kind of hot out today to have all that on, but they use those, I think sometimes they use those rallies and stuff to kind of gather information on people, but I should have gone. Maybe if I get home in time, I'll go do it. But anyhow, I'm here with Dragon, and you know, you can't even go to a park without being radiated. That's a Yugo. I think it's called Yugo or Yu-Gi-Oh! Little antenna. And then we've got the antenna I've showed you guys for a long time. That antenna at Roar Park here, it's an American tower. Remember the anagram is new crematoria. So if you're not getting radiated while you're out trying to exercise, I don't know what to tell you. Nothing's for free, I guess, huh? Okay, that was not all sour grapes. Sorry to come off that way. It's funny, the other day I actually contacted San Diego Gas and Electric and left a message. I think I made a post about this on my community page at YouTube, but trying to let them know that people kind of were watching what they were doing. So we'll see what their response is. I look forward to that. So if I go missing or disappearing soon, because I kind of threw the sheriff under the bus too, because they're doing the same exact activity that San Diego Gas and Electric is doing, where they have these flights and they get right near a water reservoir, and then their GPS goes dead, and then you don't see what they do for minutes to hours at a time. It just goes missing. And I compared that to a military flight where you see the flight time and you compare it or add up the flight time to the start time, and that's when the landing time happens, and that just makes sense. That's common math. Maybe they're doing core math. San Diego Gas and Electric and our sheriff, they're doing core math, and they're cutting out the, I don't know, something's not right. I'm telling you, something is not right. And the water is like cloudy looking too. I've noticed a change in the water. It's cloudy, it's sweeter tasting. You know, I could say the temperature always, it never seems really cool. It's always kind of lukewarm, but we are in the summer, but I don't remember this happening any other summer. I always remember there being some kind of coolness to the water. And then after I drink it, my throat feels very irritated. So, and that lasts for maybe, I don't know, 40 minutes to an hour probably. So it seems kind of corrosive to me. That just could all be in my head. Who knows? Anyhow, Dragon, I just brought him out here to this little round pen today just because I'm going to take him for a walk on a trail, but I first want to get him, see if he wants to run. Looks like he just wants to eat. And look at this, this little fence they're putting up. They're going to be doing some kind of construction or something here, but they don't want us to know. Oh, maybe they're putting up a a pre-tabernacle, pre-Maui, post-Maui fence. I don't know, for something that they're planning on doing here in Bonita. Let's go look what's inside. So far there's nothing inside except for that big pile of dirt that was there earlier. But they're going to be doing some kind of construction, and this is probably where they're going to put their trucks and stuff and pipes or whatever they're planning on doing. Have to look into that. So they don't have this, they don't have a lock on it, they just have bolts on it. They don't want people looking though. But dumping prohibited, and yet there's a big old pile. I wonder how much this fencing costs though, because it cost, what was it, $3 million in Maui? And this doesn't look like this doesn't look too temporary. I mean, they poured concrete. And I've had my EMF meter here, so I'm getting nailed with EMF stuff right now, microwaves. So, you know, for a Saturday, I mean, doesn't this seem pretty quiet for a Saturday at a park on a day? It's probably about 75 degrees out. Just doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of human activity, does there? Oh, so the video I'm working on right now, and I'll try to just tell this really quickly because I know I always draw things out. So what I'm seeing, if you look at that Mecca, that black box thing, one of the anagrams that I did looking at the emergency exercise they're going to be having October 4th, you put all those anagrams together, and I'll show it to you. I'll go home and finish that video tonight, but you put that together and it looks like the anagram is something like Mecca, a WEF safe. And if you look, Bill Gates is doing some kind of deals with, what's it called? Kingdom Holding Company, I think it's called. And then you got Warren Buffett, who's moved into his business, some real estate, something business in Saudi Arabia. Oh, and Bill Gates, he's with this Saudi Arabian business guy, or prince even, can't remember his name offhand, but he's got the Four Seasons hotels that he is investing in, and you know they have a Four Seasons over there in Maui. Then you've got all the taking down and destruction of all the monuments. And all the religious things. I guess they're leaving the Kaaba. They're leaving that big black box that looks like a safe. So, and then they're building all these huge hotels right surrounding the Kaaba. And they're making it so that whole pilgrimage to the Mecca, that's where they're going to be making their money. So when I put all the people who are involved with the October 4th going on, and I look at the anagram, and it ends up being Mecca, a WEF safe. It's kind of like the safe being, like if you just look at the Kaaba, it looks like a safe, and maybe that's where they're going to have all their money from, all the pilgrimage to the Mecca. Or also, if that whole Mecca thing, like what I think it's going to be. It's some energy weapon. Maybe they're all safe at that one spot because maybe being the energy source of, I don't know, whatever, maybe some electronic weapon or, you know, energy weapon is going to happen all throughout the world. And if you're right there, you're safe. And all these business people are coming in October. I think it's is it the 24th or something of October, later October, for $15,000 each, just to get this ticket into some meeting that they're having. I'm just wondering if all the rich, wealthy people are going to be at this meeting. And so is that what they mean by safe? They're all there at the Mecca? Why this energy thing is going out? I don't know. There's some really strange things happening. And I think Disney's involved too, because Disney's also involved with, I think, the Mecca. And if you looked at Washington, D.C., what they just recently, well, a couple of years ago, put up something like calling it Emerald City or something. It looks like, what's the LDS? Huge LDS church, almost looks like some magic kingdom that you find at Disneyland. Looks like the Emerald City. It's really weird, you know, and all this mythology and all these stories they talk about, all these like childhood stories we grow up with. If you look at it, if you do the anagrams like I've done, I know I have so much time on my hands, you'll see how people have been totally railroaded and mind controlled. That's right, baby. Mind controlled and steered. I don't know. A lot of weird things going on, guys. So, but I'm just yapping. Like, it's so easy to sit for hours in front of your computer. But if you know that, if you know we've kind of been driven and steered to being in front of that stupid computer box, looking at a bunch of LED lights, you notice how every little appliance you have has some kind of weird little LED light, like your whole house at night is just lit up. It's just weird. It didn't used to be like that. Oh, let's see, what are they doing? Let's just videotape them. Roar Park. I should ask them about that tower, but they don't know anything about it. No one knows anything. It's like that whole Ayn Rand's book. Remember the Atlas Shrugged? That seems like that's what's going on right now. There's no accountability. No one answers to anything. I thought if you weren't represented, you didn't have to pay taxes, but I don't know. All right. Well, anyhow, turn to nature if you can. And oh, one more thing. I've noticed pretty much since August 8th, you know, when I saw San Diego Gas and Electric flying over those reservoirs, over the Loveland Reservoir, and that's the same day that Maui got attacked. We haven't had spraying anywhere. All of a sudden, the spraying just stops. So everything has stopped. You know, no more spraying, at least not here. I haven't seen it. Our skies have been really clear. So what, all of a sudden there's just no more moisture in the air, or no more chemtrails can be made, or whatever. Contrails, I mean. It's kind of ridiculous. All right. I'm just distracted by the golfers behind us. You know, Mark Twain said that golf was a walk ruined. At least they're out. I guess that's not a walk though, is it? It's a drive. Like, you don't even get the exercise. All right. Yeah, for San Diego, what are we? The 8th biggest city in the country? It doesn't seem very crowded, does it? When you look at the Middle Eastern map, you look at the Mecca, first thing you see, first of all, is it's a big middle finger, which I think is interesting. And then if you look at the top of the finger, if you put in type in Four Seasons, you'll see Four Seasons pie, which is funny, or Four Seasons pies, because Gates owns the Four Seasons, and remember when he had that pie in the face? So that's kind of funny. And then way to the west, to the left of that, you'll see, I think it's the GBD company, which is that company that he was involved with. But right next to it, it's the Bin Laden group, and it's a whole huge contractors group. And if you look at them, they have, to the right of that business, right below it to the right, you'll see all these scaffolding things, those huge crane things. And then if you go back to the Mecca, you see those exact same cranes all building up around that Mecca, around the Kaaba. It's just a strange thing. I think something big is building with all these rich elite people in the Middle East. Something we're not privy to. So, okay, anyhow, I'm going to go for a walk with Dragon. So I guess I wasn't really finished talking about that whole emergency alert system that's going to be going off. And when I again looked at the anagrams of all of these that I've shown before, I also came up with this, a Fefi Mecca cause, and cause, looking at that, could mean that, and the cause, CAWS, could be from the Health and Human Services, and to me that looks like a crow. And you know, crows, the flock of crows is called a murder. And remember Trump's covfefe? So when I look at the word fefe, because cove, you just think of COVID, but I want to look at fefe. And the gematria for fefe is the same in English and simple gematria. It has 132 and 22. Which fefe in Arab are the same thing. Lucky Dragon, by the way, is an Arabian. But the 132 and 22 is also, and I'm going to just go down the list and explain it later, but it's Big D, Fefe, Keg, MAGA. Could this be your Big D as in Donald? So, Big D, remember Trump's Operation Warp Speed, the vaccine summit, where General Pernas stated that D-Day was the beginning of the end. So there's your Fefe and Big D. And the whole Corona thing just reminds me of beer and keg. And Fefe is also chef and hack. And remember all the food-related words that we get. So we've got coronavirus, carnivorous. You got the stakeholders, which can be look like that, and steak is also cow. And remember, we had that cow on wheels at Lahaina in Maui. I meant sail on wheels, which is cow, not cow on wheels. But so that's your temporary, basically 5G tower thing. It's sail on wheels, which is cow, which you could be considering stakeholders, because cows are steak to some people. And I've said this before, but with the ham is a sow, and sow can, S-O-W, it can also be as an anagram, O-W-S, Operation Warp Speed. So there's it just in a brick wall there, Operation Warp Speed, O-W-S. Also going back to Gates and his involvement with the, was it Prince Al-Walweed, the Kingdom Holding Company, Kingdom, which is here, a diversified investment company based in Saudi Arabia. The company's interests include banking, real estate, telecommunications, broadcasting and media, entertainment, hospitality, computers and electronics, agriculture. Prince Al-Walid bin Talal in Saudi Arabia, they say, is he really the new Bill Gates? But what's happened is that Bill Gates in 2015 gets him to agree, and he even stated this, gets him to agree to hand over his fortune. He said he was inspired to hand over his $20 billion wealth by fellow philanthropists Bill and Melinda Gates. And he said that the funds would be used as a living will to foster cultural understanding, empower women, and provide vital disaster relief. This story was published by the Week staff. Isn't that interesting? The Week staff, probably AI, in July 2nd of 2015. That's the same article here. And this is where it states it. He's going to give up his $20 billion. But then, according to Forbes, in 2017, they listed him as the 7th richest man in the world with a net worth of $39.8 billion. So how do you have $39.8 billion in March 2nd, 2016? That's when this was reported. When you've already agreed to give up your $20 billion and your entire fortune to charity. And a really weird little side note regarding dwarf throwing. In 2012, Business Insider, it says, reported that sources close to the prince claim that Al-Walid has a team of dwarves that he used as court gestures to entertain him. The new website also alleges that the prince set up dwarf tossing contests, promising money to whoever could throw them the furthest onto pillows. The prince refers to them as people with restricted growth, and he said that he takes pity on them because they're social outcasts, but he wants to help encourage them. I guess, let's see, he says, I do this as a responsibility and duty of the dwarf tossing. He told Vanity Fair that he totally denied that. He said that's all lies. But so this, he's talking to Vanity Fair, but up here in 2012, it talks about Business Insider. And I wanted to go look at that word dwarf tossing, because to me, this seems like a total psychological operation that's being pulled over on the people. Dwarf tossing. Looking at the word dwarf tossing, I didn't separate that, but the words, here's the numbers, numerology. There's your 93 again, and there's your 155. So coronavirus is 155, and so is the year of the rabbit, which is the year that we are in right now, and also the narrow gate, as in maybe Bill Gates, I don't know, is 155. Dwarf tossing, what a joke. And then here's this July 2nd, 2015 at 1:55 a.m. The Associated Press, remember 155 equals dwarf tossing. Now remember, in 2015, he already agrees to, with Bill and Melinda Gates, that he's going to give up his entire fortune. That's 2015. But July 2nd, 2017, he's going to give up his entire personal fortune. And this time, it happens to be $32 billion to charity. So giving up all his money to charity. And in this article by the Associated Press, it also mentions here that Al-Walid joins other billionaires who have made similar pledges in recent years, such as Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Michael Bloomberg. He's credited the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for their wide range of charitable projects and said his organization has partnered with them on health initiatives. That was the polio. He had a polio promise to get rid of polio. It connects him here to his Kingdom Holding and his Four Seasons. Where'd it go? His Four Seasons hotels. So he said, although he did not give an exact time frame, Al-Walid said his billions would be allocated through a well-devised plan throughout the coming years. So from 2015, he goes from $20 billion of his life, finances, to $32 billion in 2017. He's in bed with Bill Gates with the Four Seasons Hotel. So on November 4th, 2017, he gets arrested with all these other Saudi royals. And he's arrested by this man, Mohammed bin Salman. He's the one that arrested Prince al-Walid and the other 10 Saudi royals. But this is the same guy that dismembered that journalist, Khashoggi, remember? And Donald Trump actually kind of has some finances from this guy who owns, I guess, 93% of the LIV golf events. All it shows is just there's collaboration. They're just working together. And Donald Trump is bailing him out of having actually murdered, dismembering a journalist. It's not the first time that Trump has protected people who have been found guilty of murdering people, innocent people. But just quickly back to this guy and the 2015 story. So one thing I just think is kind of funny, this second paragraph here, the billionaire nephew of King Abdullah is one of the richest men in the world. Remember, the word was God. Do you think that is a mistake? I don't know. It's weird. So I wanted to finish real quickly the comment about the dwarf tossing. When you look at that, it's just funny because dwarf tossing, the anagram can be looked at as OWS draftings, like Operation Warp Speed draftings, just like they're trying to make their little plan about the Operation Warp Speed. And the gematria, the Jewish gematria for dwarf tossing is 1377, and 1377 is also the beast of revelation and trans all around you. And have we seen that lately? The trans all around? I think so. So we have this Prince al-Walid, I can't say the name, sorry, al-Walid, freed, and it says freed after settlement. So he had to pay, it said retrieved January 27, 2018. The prince was released following an undisclosed financial agreement with the government, similar to deals that authorities struck with most other detainees in exchange for their freedom. So, but what kind of money, billions, did he give? And what's being done for it? Is it maybe the takedown of Mecca? Because that's what's going on right now. And they're totally kicking out all the religious stuff and all the, monuments and all that. They're destroying these people's heritage. So I wonder if that is, and they're replacing it with these ostentatious just hotels and stuff. So it's a total takeover of this country and their faith and their religion and their rights. And it's over. It's done at night too. A lot of the, a lot of the comments I've read is, a monument or something will be there one night and then it's gone the next day. So they come in the middle of the night and destroy part of the Saudis' culture. And I'll leave you a few of the articles, but you should read it because it's not just this country or that country. It's every country that's being taken down from within. This is Prince al-Walid. And this says, it's hard to imagine faster or more audacious way to obtain billions of dollars than the route recently taken by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Force the country's richest people to turn over their personal fortunes to the state as part of an anti-corruption campaign. Late last year, the 32-year-old heir to the throne locked up a group of Saudi billionaires and other businessmen at an ultra-luxe prison, the 492-room palm-lined Ritz-Carlton. Some were his own relatives, including Prince Alawid bin Talal. That's the one that dealt with Gates, or sold the Four Seasons to him, a part of the shares. The most recognizable Saudi mogul in the West. At least 3 other Saudi billionaires from Forbes' 2017 list were reportedly detained. No official list of the detainees' name was released. The press attaché at the Saudi embassy in Washington, D.C. told Forbes that it didn't have information on specific individuals due to Saudi privacy laws. Yeah, right. Anyhow, they're taking their whole country down from within. It's a total corruption scam, and it's coming here too. And he was inspired to hand over his $20 billion worth of wealth by fellow philanthropists Bill and Melinda Gates. He said the funds would be used as a living will to foster cultural understanding, empower women, and provide vital disaster relief. What kind of disaster are we going to be coming upon? Talking about October 4th, the emergency alarm system. But that looks like a good cause to hand over your entire $20 billion. Thanks, Bill. So I'm sure it's going to be helping this whole emergency management agency, you know. And it's interesting too, because Mecca, we got a couple different definitions here. September 11th, that's 9/11. The meaning of Mecca is a place regarded as a center for a specified group, activity, or interest. But 9/11, that was posted. Cambridge says Mecca is a place to which many people are attracted. They're talking about fashion. And Collins says Mecca is a city in Saudi Arabia, which is the holiest city in Islam because of the Prophet. Muhammad was born there. That was probably the most appropriate definition. So just reading this is kind of weird, the Mecca thing with Prophet Muhammad. So it says the Prophet Muhammad was born into the most powerful tribe in Mecca, the Quraysh. And Muhammad, it also says he was orphaned before he reached the age of 6. It says he was raised under the protection of his uncle Abu Talib. He said he was hearing voices and he went to go live in a cave after he was married with children. But it says one night during Ramadan, the traditional month of spiritual retreat, when Muhammad was about 40 years old, an angel appeared to him in the form of a man and ordered him to, now listen to this, recite the name of thy Lord who created man from a clot. Ring any bells lately with what we've been going through the last 3 years? Recite in the name of thy Lord, who taught by the pen, taught man what he knew not. So created man from a clot. Could that be from the needle crafting that people are getting in the new operating system? Recite in the name of thy Lord, who created man from a clot. Recite in the name of thy Lord, who taught by the pen, taught man what he knew not. But the Quraysh were the group of Arab clans that historically inhabited and controlled the city of Mecca and its Kaaba. And the Quraysh are known for their role as successful merchants. So it kind of makes sense now that the Mecca is basically turned into a huge shopping center. And this says, Mecca shopping mall supply to rise over 200% definition. And we're back to the whole meat thing. So Lockheed Martin is also children meat. Okay, and I bring them up because of the dew and energy weapons that they seem to specialize in. Anyhow, and then the hacking. You know, they can use these frequencies to hack the human animal. Yuval Harari has said that. And when I look at the anagram for the Kingdom Holding Company, that's like lock hog in God mind, and the hog, remember, SOW, like OWS, Operation Warp Speed, and that's about the vaccines. And so if you want to lock something in, you inject them with whatever operating system you might have in mind, and there's your lock hog in God mind. And the Kingdom Holding Company is also 341. There's your numerology, which is also hardened heart, and the message, or message in a bottle, which is also 102, which you flip that around, that's event 201. And we come down here and it's a pandemic special, which is also 341. and politics. So this Kaaba is sacred. It's like the most sacred place in Islam, and it's being overshadowed by this huge clock tower and all the shops and hotels to make way for all this monetary activity, merchants. Inside there are 3 pillars and lamps. And on the corner you have, on the east corner, you have the black rocks, the black stones that are there that people touch, and it's just considered a sacred place. And they have these black and gold cloths that they're changing out. In fact, they just changed it out. They're 14 meters tall, and they just changed out July 30th, 2020 is when this was changed out. They needed 150 technicians and manufacturers replaced the kabas. They call it kiswa. It's a black cloth, with a new one on Wednesday, and this was in 2020 of July 30th. But this states too, caretakers have protected their historical God-given legacy and are supported by the Quran and Sunnah. So it just seems like if something's going to be targeted, maybe they'll target this, because it seems like one of the last real sacred things that people hold very dear. Here's the actual key to the Kaaba. It looks like that says 222. And the key, it says, has a very unique appearance, and it doesn't resemble a normal key. It has special characteristics. It says it's also designed in a unique artistic way, so no one but the caretakers know how to use it. And this is according to the Prophet, I'm assuming Muhammad, only an oppressor will take caretaking away from the al-Shabi family. So I wonder when that might happen. It says here, now the caretaker's tasks are restricted to opening and closing the Kaaba. Al-Shabi is also contacted if the Kaaba must be opened for visits by the kingdom's guests. I wonder who those would be. Here are all the people. Here's the Kaaba. And there's all the people circumambulating. Anyhow, it looks like they're putting a new cloth on it, and they've just done this recently. Okay, so really quickly here, black and gold happens to be Islamic, AI bot, big time, recipe, 19, Black Swan, TikTok, Soros, and Pyramid, and Infinite. And I'm not asking you guys to get caught up in all their junk that they're trying to send us. I'm just trying to get us to see that the symbols and the patterns, when you see certain things, once you realize what they do and how they're communicating, it makes it easier just to know, this is just a false flag, this is just a psyop, this is just a social engineering. So it makes it easier not to have to fall for their little games. But one more I want to show you. Like, for instance, remember Buzz Lightyear and how they threw the infinity and beyond in you, and part of their little story to steer you? It's part of the whole culture. They're just steering everyone into all these, their little, I don't even know what to call them, their little cul-de-sacs, which you just get trapped there. It's funny because it's also Red Dragon, Saudi Arabia, black and gold. There's your disease X, like disease de jour, to steer everyone into believing the whole germ thing, that you're going to catch something from someone, which it doesn't work that way. Once we realize that, we'll stop all getting sick. And symbol, one of the biggest things. Once you start learning, seeing their symbols and their patterns, you can, you can see what they're up to. I mean, even the TikTok, it's like, look at the clock tower. That's like the center of everything. Just take that. That's one symbol. When they start saying TikTok, look around. When you see what they're really showing, then it helps, just helps see them a little bit better, the evil, and then you can avoid the evil. And regarding infinity, remember Maui? Maui was a ritual, because infinity is just going to keep going. And Maui is also final phase, and the numerology for that, final phase, look at that on the bottom, it's 91, you flip that upside down, it's 19. And the 44 also for Maui, 44, which is half of 88, which is Ray, kill, harp. And harp is also Islam and digital at 150. And at 44, we also have the mask, clock, and cook. And the mask we've seen when they masked everybody up. We've got the clock tower and the tick-tock, and we see all these words regarding like feasting and eating. Even Maui, which is Hawaii, is kind of known for luau. And when we take the 44 again and divide that in half, that's 22. And we already looked at the 22 as being chef, Fefi, and big D. And it's also FDIC. And the FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. And it's almost like a big piggy bank, like the big black box of the Kaaba. And when we look at this seal, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation of the FDIC, you see there's your 19 and your 33. They love the 19. We've been seeing that. You've got the scale on the top. Scale also equals 11, 9. You flip that around. There's your 911. It's also your Donald. There's your big D and your pink. We see all those pink ties, and I've mentioned the pink. You got the pink tide coming up from South America, who is going very liberal and is very anti-American. It's Real ID, which they're going to be getting everyone on that digital ID system. And the 40, 240 and 40 of the second part of the word scale, the numeral equivalent, is also table, where they're bringing everyone to the table and all their feasting. I mean, I don't want to ruin your dinner or anything, but the Last Supper, it can also be looked at as reset path plus, push telly traps, like all the phones that they're making everyone get addicted to. And 240 and 40 is also mind and food. But they also show you there the little pyramid, and they also show you the key, like lock key, or the key that you need to get into the Kaaba. And key, you'll see that come up, those symbols come up also later. But this says the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, it's FDIC, is a United States government corporation supplying deposit insurance to depositors in American commercial banks and saving banks. Do you remember when I was covering Maui about the air refueling and the red flag event write-up, and how they're talking about the sweet smell of pineapple, snap of the fire, cooking together in harmony? So that's the food chef cooking thing. And remember the FEMA plus FCC plus EAS plus WEA. The anagram is Mecca, a WEF, World Economic Forum, safe, and how that looks so much like a safe. And you got your black and gold. Anyhow, it's just, you know, does it look like it's kind of coming together? You can bring all those symbols together. So the Federal Deposit, FDIC, founded in June 16, that's 616, headquartered in Washington, D.C., and 616 is June 16th. 616 is ritual sacrifice. It's also the formula of magic. And one more thing too about ritual sacrifice with those numbers. Remember Lisa Marie Presley? That's Elvis Presley's daughter. So she was dead. This is her, Lisa Marie Presley dead, 919, and also 201. Remember event 201? And she happened to die on January 12th, That's 112 at the age of 54. And if we take January 12th, that's 112, you flip it around. 211 is all planned, and there's your 91. You flip that around, that's your 19. They love their 19s. It's also plans. 211 is also cell phone and marks. It's also Mason, and when you look at the anagram of Mason, it's M Sun. And when we look at the Lisa Marie Presley dead being 919, 919 is also the perfect storm is here. And flip 919 around, which is 616. And 616 is also Heffy, like boss. And remember, it was Donald Trump who talked about the perfect storm, and he's the one that was telling everyone you're fired and fired. Look at all the firing going on, all the fires. So when I think of Donald Trump and fired, I think of The Apprentice. And here's in the Hollywood Reporter, they've got bowling pins, and we're seeing Hollywood kind of being taken down, but also, I mean, notice that those are bowling pins in the back. And bowling pins in Jewish gematria is 1223, which is also Jesuit order, and also Hawaiian Islands. Also, I am the apocalyptic prophet. And you know, prophet, the word prophet, phonetically it can be like that, profit, like money, like merchants are mercenaries. But bowling pins also in English and simple gematria is also November 9, which is 9/11 or 11/9, Great Awakening and Financial Reset. And here's one of the visuals that they used for The Apprentice. See the little guy running with a, looks like a briefcase or something in his hands in front of him. Just looking at a few anagrams for The Apprentice. There's one, chip penetrate, or penetrate chip. And what was it that was in those injections, the needle crafting from Operation Warp Speed? We don't know, but I bet it's some kind of nanotech kind of thing. Operating system. So there's your chip. Anyhow, there's a techie pin trap. There's a tech pin pirate. Isn't that weird too? Because I came up with preheat incept and incept without the T, sorry. Actually, I'll keep that T, and looking at the incept rape. Incept rape. According to Cambridge, incept is to begin or introduce something. Introduce something, like a needle crafting, like introduce into the body. Here's another one. To put an idea into a person's mind so deeply that they believe it was their own. Are we seeing any of that going on? Little indoctrination, or even electronic warfare perhaps? And look at this, it says inspired by the movie Inception in 2010. So remember, you've got The Apprentice here, and here's the movie Inception. It says the dream is real. It's almost like one of those mind controlled kind of visuals, but look at this. The dream is real. It says from the director of Dark Knight's Inception, and we go down here and look at this, July 16th. So that would be July 16th, 716, 716. There's some numerology, 666, 111. And there's May 1st, like May Day. Remember all the May Days I've been talking about? SOS, May Day. Ray's Gangs is also 716. Same numerology, the 666, 111. But is that an accident? The guy's got a briefcase and this guy's got a gun instead. And the word inception. And Trump's The Apprentice can be looked at as the incept rape. So I just think it's interesting, a little coincidental, and seemingly appropriate with what's going on lately. It's also funny that they use this photo of this helicopter, supposedly his helicopter, and there's the word, the number 76DT, as in 76 Don Trump. It's not focused even in the original. And 76 is also pig, as in sow, as in Operation Warp Speed, as in inject you the needlecraft to everyone. So if you look at the 76 in simple gematria, it just happens to be black rock. It also happens to be Disney, and the plan, and BioNTech, and 91, as in 19, as in 19, and humans. And apprentice in gematria is also happiness, which can also be HP sapiens, which sapiens are humans, and HP, you could look at that as Hewlett Packard. So I looked at HP, which is Hewlett Packard. It's HP Inc. now. It's an American multinational information technology company that develops personal computers. Remember the operating systems of Moderna? It was founded in 1939 by Bill Hewlett and David Packard. That was probably a fun team. And they both graduated at Stanford University in electrical engineering in Palo Alto, California. In May of 2016, HP introduced a new PC gaming sub-brand known as Omen. Omen. One of the key people is Chip Berg, and also Enrique Lores, who is from Spain. And they also have an HP Labs, which is an exploratory advanced research group. So here's Enrique Lores. So here's just something real quick I found on the old Twitter from Chief Nerd. It says the CEOs attending included Alphabet's Sundar Pichai, or Pichai, I don't know how you say that, Walmart's Doug McMillon, Pfizer's Albert Bourla, why are these people's names so weird? HP's Enrique Lores and others. They are part of a council of leaders dedicated to helping support refugees in the United States. Yeah, because we don't have enough homeless and ex-military to support. But today's meeting highlights the importance of public-private partnerships, there's your PPs, in building durable and scalable capacity to better respond to the global displacement crisis, the White House said in a statement. And here on Reuters, it shows sustainability, public policy, immigration rules, Biden, corporate council. So CEOs from Alphabet, Walmart, Pfizer meet White House officials on refugees. This was September 15th, 2023. So here's an article, and I'll leave this for you. So these groups of people, these technocrats who are part of like councils of leaders who basically just elect themselves, like people like from the WHO and the WEF, these are the people who basically do exactly what they want, do what thou wilt, and use their tech because they're so curious about everything at your expense. It's all about the hacking of the human animal too. So Enrique Lores also says a global technology leader whose innovative product and service portfolio spans personal systems. Imagine what that is. Operating systems, remember? Anyhow, Trump's The Apprentice, you can see this, preheat in Sept, so that's things are warming up like Maui or even the Operation Warp Speed. You know, we're warming up to even more invasive technologies, and the Incept rape. And again, the word apprentice is 107, and I showed you this earlier. It's feather in a cap is also 107, Windows and military, also Word of God. And there's your Captain Hook with his feather in a cap pointing to it, so you'd pay attention to that. Oh, and also 107 is also the Messiah. And remember that coat? Did you ever read that history about the redcoats are coming? So remember the apprentice is 476, and the clock is ticking is 476. And remember the Royal Clock Tower, looking down at the Kaaba, all that building, I wonder what's going on. But anyhow, TikTok, what do you think with all those cranes and all those towers and all those cell towers down below with all those people there? What do you think? The Makkah Royal Clock Tower, it's the biggest tower clock in the world. Little bling there for the Donald. Wow. All right. That's King Abdulaziz medal he just got. And that's whose clock tower that is. And you know, in Isaiah, I think it's 10:14, it says, "And my hand has found as a nest the riches of the people, and as one gathers the eggs that are left, I have gathered all the earth. And there was none that moved the wing or opened the mouth or peeped." It sounds like no one said anything when people were taking things like they're doing in Maui. They're just taking all these people's stuff. There are people speaking up, but that's weird, the word peep, because when I looked at The Apprentice, it also says IT peep chanter. I just thought that was sort of strange. Inception. Anyhow, I don't think any of this is a mistake. And the FDIC, they're basically looking at you as their energy. You are their bank. They're using you for their deposits and their cash withdrawals and their energy. And they're the black stones surrounded by like silver. And front view of black stones. They got broken up. This shows the story of Muhammad and the Meccan clan elders lifting the black stone into place. I also showed that green door, that Emerald City looking door. And there's this image, remember the little man behind the curtain? And here it says, "Bell out of order, please knock." And of course there's your Tin Man. Tin is AI. I looked at the anagram for "bell out of order, please knock." And that also looks like a keyhole. So there's a lot going on, a lot of different possibilities. When I look at the anagram, "bell out of order, please knock," not the anagram, the gematria, it's 966 and 1680 and 280. So 966 in Jewish gematria is electromagnetic current. And we see a lot of that going on when you're at the Mecca looking at the Kaaba. Look at those cells right there. And these people are right here. So that's just the gematria, electromagnetic current. And the anagram for that, "bell out of service, please knock." It's ER as in emergency room, LED as in the light emitting diodes, you know, the LED lights, flu reset cookbook plan. That's a mouthful. There's lots of possibilities. So ER, LED, flu, reset cookbook plan. There's another one, Blackstone ruler poked fool. So Blackstone ruler, whoever's in charge of that Kaaba, or whoever's going to be taking it over, who knows? Because there's a lot of acquisitions going on and people are taking things that aren't necessarily theirs. But Blackstone ruler poked fool. That black stone could also be looked at as black rock. And poked, I'm thinking of the needle crafting. And look at these hand signals these guys are throwing. And regarding that first anagram I showed, ER, LED, flu, reset cookbook plan. When I looked up and did some research between LED, what's the difference between LED and 5G? This said LED display manufacturers cannot be separated from 5G technology. So LED and 5G can very easily go hand in hand. So there's also ERS, so ERs like emergency rooms full, needle cookbook trap, a lot of different ones, full ERs, needle cookbook trap, plan reset cookbook, elder flu. And the second half of the bell out of order, please knock gematria is 1680 and 280. And the gematria that fits that is I shall come as a thief in the night. So one reason with that anagram for bell out of order, please knock, was Blackstone Elder Poker Fool. There's this website called The Elders that talks about a sustainable planet. I think sustainable is a real big buzz code word. And of course they cover climate crisis, pandemics, nuclear weapons, and conflict. All these things that just instill fear in people. All these things that make you feel hopeless and helpless. That are all a bunch of black swans created by man. And going back to the gematria, bell out of order, please knock. And it being the I shall come as a thief in the night. And this article saying Saudi Arabia bulldozers over its heritage, where these activists are speaking out, and it says they believe that the recent destructions are part of a much wider government campaign to rub out historical and religious sites across the kingdom. They say over the last few years, mosques and key sites dating from the time of Muhammad have been knocked down or destroyed. I read this a little bit earlier. So they're literally threatening the birthplace of Muhammad. And again, they state that the Kaaba now stands in the shade of one of the world's tallest buildings. I showed you this, the Mecca Royal Clock Tower. So this is what I was getting to regarding the I shall come as a thief in the night. It says, after blue markings appear on sites mentioned in Islamic histories, says this guy, his name is Nawab, then the bulldozers come, often in the dead of the night. Everything happens at night. It's a she. She told Time by phone from Saudi Arabia. By the next day in the morning, the monument is gone. And you know what's weird is I have found that to be true with the cell towers that they put up. They do a lot of the trenching and just erect these cell towers at night. And then you come out and there's this new structure, a very detrimental structure, microwaving structure. But here's another one. So Fullard Reset Cookbook Plan. A lot of it has to do, a lot of cookbooks in here, a lot of reset cookbooks. LEDs, the flu thing, LED lights. But the electromagnetic current seems to, I don't know, just go with everything else I'm seeing. And look at her, what is she pulling on? Look, she's double dipping. She's pulling and she's knocking. Here's just one more. LED pelters. That's like pummeling you with stuff. So LED pelters funeral cookbook. So these words were in that reset op, Neil and Corona, but it's also foul coke, bankrolled reset op, or it could be instead of foul coke, it could be cook fuel, bankrolled reset op. So when I look at Coke, the company Coke as in Coca-Cola, so I look at Curran Holdings, and Curran Holdings, KW Inc., changed its name to Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Northern New England, Inc., the forerunner of Coca-Cola Beverage, Northeast, Inc. So isn't that weird? And the Curran Holdings Company Limited is a Japanese beer and beverage holding company. It is known for brands such as Curran Beer, Curran Lemon, Mets, and Go-Go no Kocha. And this is Curran Holdings logo. And look at this, what I thought, it looked also like the Catcher in the Rye illustration, the horse. It's like they're running on, they've got both flames, they've got both at the shoulder and the hip area, they've got the E on it, it's weird. And that The Catcher in the Rye Horse, it looks like it's a fire over a city. And you've got a little cross in there too. Anyhow, burning up a city, just like they did Maui. But you know who the Coca-Cola owners are? It's Berkshire Hathaway, BlackRock, and the Vanguard Group. Yep, there they are. Berkshire Hathaway, BlackRock, the Vanguard Group. There's your customer service number in Atlanta, Georgia, if you want to call them. And I had mentioned really quickly before that FII Institute, which they're coming up on the 7th. This is showing the 6th, but they come up on the 7th. And you have to be a member in order to do that meeting. And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they are members. And there is an SBG enterprise in Georgia. And interesting, the people who looked her up also looked up the Department of Defense, federal government, a DOD civil servant, investigator at defense. So a lot of interesting military stuff. And I'll have to cover this later because I'm running out of room. But Quarter Flash, Harden My Heart by Pat Benatar is also interesting. And I'll cover that later. So Dragon and I are out for our walk. And sorry, the shaky ground. Well, no, not the shaky ground, it's shaking me. Okay, so wait, Dragon, can you hold still for a sec? Let's see, hang on, let me zoom out a little bit. There. So we made it on our walk. Are you so patient, baby? Baby's patient. Let's go. Made it on our walk. I just want to take you around the corner here because it's kind of pretty. And boy, the wind is picking up. San Diego is not a windy place. But I have found that after all those flights take place, there's a lot of wind that goes on. But again, I don't know. Here, ho, baby, ho. I don't know if there have been flights because I haven't been paying attention to the radar today. But I just know it's windy today, and it's not normally this windy. It's a weird, steady, pretty strong feeling wind. See, look at that. Hold still, baby. See how windy it is? Anyhow, this is, you know what? This right here, it's herba manzа. It smells kind of peppery. And it tastes kind of peppery, but this is really good for, I think it's gallbladder. Like if people have an issue with their gallbladder. So that's kind of good to know. It grows, I guess it likes water, apparently. Because this is a little bit like a kind of semi-dry waterbed. I'm wondering too, when I came in here, I saw this. So we're at this Sweetwater River Trail, and I see this post being put up here, and it almost makes me wonder if they're going to just slowly put like another post here, almost like a gate. I just see that they are trying to fence everything up and keep people going in one direction. Even when you look at them walking around at the Kaaba, they have people, they have these plastic like tray, like rails or something put up so people have to go a certain direction. They're all controlled. Anyhow, these trees, little oak tree looking things, they are all a fail. I mean, they've planted all of them, but they're all dead. So how much money went into planting all these little oak trees just to die? Just kind of wondering. Speaking of dying, and there's that it's kind of bright right now, so I can't really see if I got it. I think I do. The palm trees, they have a lot of palm trees that are supposedly being killed by some beetle, which I've yet to ever see. Have you seen a beetle, baby? I haven't either. But they're all dying. Here's one that survived. Look. Yeah, 1 out of 5. That's pretty good. And that tree right there, it's a willow. It's beautiful. This is what they make aspirin out of. And if you're planting or trying to grow plants, this is also what they use, that rooting hormone. It's got that rooting hormone that helps the roots take hold. You don't have to buy that expensive rooting powder. You just do that, or you just pee in a cup, and I guess your urine has the same kind of hormone that that rooting powder has, that the the willow tree has in it. Anyhow, more than one way to skin a cat, huh, Dragon? All right, so we're kind of wrapping up our walk. I just wanted to let you all see San Diego Trail. All right, carry on. We're getting a little after walk snack. That's right. I guess there are some things that are free. Right, Dragon? What do you see, baby? That's right. He hears the horses in the stable on the other side of those trees. He misses True, but he's getting used to it, I think. All right. Have a good day, you guys.